What an incredible panel. What an incredible panel. I am in awe, even though I shouldn't be, but I certainly am. Excellently moderated, and just the thought and the opinions and the quality of how this was executed was just absolutely incredible. I just want to say there's one thing you do today, one thing, is please go and watch that panel. One thing. Go right now, stop watching this, and go and watch that panel. It was just absolutely incredible. I mean, the stats that Katie Kirk was talking about a new book that is coming out, of young women who just due to social media, the percentage of young women that are admitted in emergency for self-harm is up 188%. The things that the Duchess was talking about how the hatred and vitriol towards her increased when she was pregnant. These things are it's incredible to hear them say it, and painful at the same time, of what these big tech companies are doing. And we who create content on this platform, even, we know that the bottom line for these big companies is the bottom line, which is right, that currency. And I know I repeated that 2 or 3 times, but that's what it is. I am just in an incredible way, at the same time, more so incentivized and more so energized about what I do, how I do it, how I live my life, the people who I choose to influence my thought and my way of being. I have, from a very early age, been a feminist, even though I didn't know that is what it was called, but I will never stop being one. And define it how you may, but women also need to take a look at themselves, the ones who perpetrate this violence and this nastiness towards other women. I've said this before on this podcast. Take a mirror and look at yourself in that mirror. Take a mirror and look at yourself in that mirror. And think about your choices. Think about what you're doing to other women and the legacy that you're leaving behind. And when I say legacy, you don't have to be someone with a big name that we all know. Legacy is the mother, the daughter. Legacy is the grandmother. Legacy is what you say and do when you think no one is listening, or in the confines of your home, or when you're with other girlfriends. How do you stand up for other women? How do you say, no, we should not? No, that is not appropriate.
Megan, I want to come back to you because social media has really become the go-to place for girls and women to be scrutinized, objectified, bullied, right? And unfortunately, I know that this is something that you are all too familiar with. So how have you been able to manage the seemingly endless toxicity that comes at you?
Yes, social media is a environment that I think has a lot of that. It's really interesting as I can reflect on it. I keep my distance from it right now just for my own well-being, but the bulk of the bullying and abuse that I was experiencing in social media and online was when I was pregnant with Archie and with Lily and with a newborn with each of them. And you just think about that and you have to really wrap your head around why people would be so hateful. It's not catty, it's cruel. Why you would do that, and certainly when you're pregnant or you have a newborn, we all, as moms, it's such a tender and sacred time. And I think, you could either succumb to it or nearly succumb to how painful that is. And maybe in some regards, because I was pregnant, that mammalian instinct just kicked in. Do everything you can to protect your child, and as a result, protect yourself too. But, I think as we look at what's happening in social media, there is so much work to be done in terms of keeping people safe. That starts as we see what's happening with children and their exposure to things, but also just creating these habits that what I find the most disturbing, frankly, especially as a supporter of women, is how much of the hate is women completely spewing that to other women. And I cannot make sense of that, because I understand that there are certain platforms. Look, today's a really good example. This is being streamed on one of those platforms, and it's also fantastic because people are going to have access to hear all of this brilliance and all of this insight. And at the same time, it's a platform that has quite a bit of hate and rhetoric and incentivizes people to create pages where they can churn out very, very inciting comments and conspiracy theories that can have a tremendously negative effect on someone's mental health, their physical safety. So I think we have to really take a look at that when we're talking about how many women are in leadership positions, as you're saying, in broadcast. There are a lot of women that are at the highest level, executive level, who are great champions of women, who are great philanthropists, and they are working in these spaces, and yet they're allowing this kind of behavior to run rampant. And at a certain point, they have got to put the do's behind the says and really make some changes on a systemic level. And then, on the flip side of that, we have a responsibility in all of that. The systemic change has to happen at the same time as the cultural change is happening. Because if you're reading something terrible about a woman, why are you sharing it with your friends? Why are you choosing to put that out in the world? What if it was your friend or your mom or your daughter? You wouldn't do it. And I think that is the piece that is so lost right now in what's happening in the digital space and in certain sectors of the media. We have forgotten about our humanity. And that has got to change, because I understand there's a bottom line, and I understand that a lot of money is being made there. But even if it's making dollars, it doesn't make sense.
Hold your breath, we're diving into something